Hey guys, Cam for 15, back at it with another video for you guys, joined by my Uncle Daryl, and we are back giving our NFL weekly recap and our NFL Week 2 predictions, which was a very exciting week one of NFL football. For some games, some other games were fairly interesting with how the final score ended out. So we're gonna get into it. We already talked Lions and Chiefs last week. We'll also do kind of a mini slash recap of Vikings and Eagles from last night as well. But I guess we can start off with our favorite team because we want to get that out our throats right now. The Bears, well, they ended up losing to the Packers yet again. Um, I'll say this: the Bears didn't look like they were prepared to play. The Bears coaches in these press conferences think otherwise. The players said they didn't have juice. Whatever. If you want to get our true thoughts in terms of a Bears fans' perspective about this loss to the Packers, go check out the two videos. I did one video by myself after the game was over, and then we did a day after the game was over video, where we pretty much hash out the thoughts. I just thought the Bears weren't ready to play. You can clearly look at the all 22. There's issues that the Bears still have, and the coaches are not making the necessary adjustments. As for the Packers, hey, they just did their thing, you know. They came into Chicago, even though they were under Jordan Love. I thought Jordan Love played all right. He wasn't perfect, but he played good enough to have the Packers win the game. And mostly the way the Packers played, it was due to the coaches. And then really their defense pretty much. But other than that, like
Coach LaFleur can coach football.
yep,
Matt Eberflus, the jury is still out.
yeah, that's pretty much it. So we were wrong on that. We were wrong on that prediction.
Yeah.
The next game was the Houston Texans versus the Ravens. CJ Stroud's first start in a regular season NFL game. Um, I watched this game. The first half was actually a lot closer than the final score, and obviously happened. Like you could clearly see Lamar Jackson coming back. He was very rusty. He was turning the ball over. The Ravens were doing uncharacteristically type of stuff. I can't. Yeah. Um, and honestly, I was kind of actually shocked that the Texans were hanging in there for a half. But obviously
Yeah.
the Ravens defense didn't really make the offense for the Houston Texans do much of anything. But I can't really blame CJ Stroud. I thought he looked solid for the most part in this game. But the Ravens did what they did. They turned it on in the second half. The only thing that happened to them, probably negatively, was J.K. Dobbins went out due to an Achilles injury, which sucks
Yeah.
for the guy because he every time he comes back, he always gets hurt and he can
Yeah.
never stay healthy.
Well, I mean, you really don't. I mean, we love football, but at the same time, we know it's a contact collision sport and we know injuries are going to happen. And what we hate most of all, man, is when you see recurrent injuries in one guy. And, J.K. Dobbins is one of those guys, man. I like him as a football player, love him as a running back. And I just got him, man. I really feel for him as well, too. Aaron Rodgers as well. I mean, it just sucks, man. You put all that work in, and then game one it just comes to a crashing end.
Any other things to say about this game? No.
Again, Ravens adjusted from the first half to the second half. Uh, Houston didn't, but Houston didn't have the tools, meaning they rookie quarterback, but he did play well. I think it was like 28 for 45 or something like that. So he did play well. But what can you expect game one from a rookie?
Um, Game that I thought would be a lot closer than I think we both guessed. Browns versus the Bengals. The Browns blew out the Bengals, and when we say blew them out, they actually manhandled them. Joe Burrow
Man,
gets paid, and he looked,
talk about rusty though. I mean,
yeah,
Joe Burrow.
clearly the injury he had before the preseason started clearly
Yeah,
affected him.
yeah, that ooh, man, But keep in mind they did the same thing last year, so I'm not gonna sit up here and just dump on Cincinnati Bengals. They lost their first two games last year. So just preseason, man,
Yeah,
but
the
Cleveland
conditions.
looked good.
Yeah,
Cleveland looked really good, and
yeah,
Deshaun Watson looked really good. So it's gonna be that division is gonna go all the way to the last game. All four of those teams are gonna be vying for playoff spots. Like similar to what the NFC East did last year.
Yeah. The rain. There was also heavy rain, so the rain also played a factor. But at the end of the day,
I don't think it was
got the
that big of
basket.
a
But
factor for the way Burrow played. He played horrible.
yeah, but I think we were wrong on that. We chose the Bengals for that matchup, right?
Yeah, we chose the Bengals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another shocking game that happened was the Buccaneers going to the Minnesota Vikings building and beating
That
them.
was shocking.
On paper, it did.
Considering how Minnesota has played last year with all them close games, and you think Tampa Bay, the only part that was shocking for me was the aspect of Baker Mayfield being quarterback.
That's why it was shocking to me. I didn't think like
other than that, I mean, Tampa Bay is still intact, as a football team. But but Baker played well.
He played well.
He played well. So, and he kept his mouth closed even at the podium afterwards, which is shocking for Baker.
Yeah,
so,
even though he did crap talk them during the game, but it was funny.
Well, I mean, you crap talk. Come on now. During the game, man, you crap talk everybody.
Yeah.
But man, but Tampa Bay's off to a good start. Probably gonna be off to a better start come this Sunday.
Yeah. Vikings, we'll get into their matchup against the Eagles, but seemingly enough, it seems like it's kind of some of the same issues that they had last year. When the defense needs a critical stop, defense can't get it.
Can't get it. And Kirk Cousins is just anything outside of Justin Jefferson. Nothing.
Jordan Addison's been good for them these past 2 weeks, so you can't deny that.
Okay.
All right. We both chose Vikings, so another thing we lost. Titans at the Saints. The Saints eke out a win against the Titans. Didn't really see much of this game. It was kind of like an ugly football game.
The only thing that really stood out to me was the speedster for New Orleans, Shaheed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was the only one that really stood out in this game. He was the difference maker. He was the reason why the Saints got in position, to win the football game. And we both said that New Orleans was going to win. And New Orleans last second field goal, late field goal, or something like that. Yeah, that's they pulled it out like that way again. But otherwise, the parts that I saw were pretty boring. But yeah. Shaheed stood out to me as a difference maker for the Saints.
Next game was the Falcons against the Panthers. The Falcons pretty much handled the Panthers, so that's good for us Bear fans.
Boring game. We saw that too. We said the Falcons. So
yeah. The game was kind of meh early on, and then eventually the Falcons pulled away. Bijan Robinson had one crazy great play he made. And it was funny because my dad was like, we should have drafted Bijan Robinson. And we can't because we didn't need a running back, and 2, the Falcons drafted before us, so we would never got him to begin with anyways.
Well, I mean, going off to something, Roschon Johnson looks like he's going to be our eventual starting running back.
Yeah. So it is what it is. Bryce Young, I think he looked solid enough. I didn't catch much of this game.
He looked good. I mean, for a rookie, he looked good. But again, what can you do when you start a rookie quarterback? You really don't expect much as a fan, or I don't expect much out of rookies. So, but we picked the Falcons.
Yep. Next game was the Jaguars and the Colts. This game almost went down to the wire until the Jaguars lately pulled away. Respect to the Colts, they gave the Jaguars a freaking battle to try to win. Trevor Lawrence, he made some mistakes, but again, the better team will pull away. They will pretty much finish the team off. I thought Anthony Richardson, he looked good for what,
Of all the rookie quarterbacks that started.
Sorry for that interruption. You were saying about Anthony Richardson?
I was like, of all the rookie quarterbacks that played this weekend, Anthony Richardson was really good early.
Yeah.
Early. Now, granted, they did some of the same stuff that you'll probably see the Bears do. It was a lot of check downs, And that one check down he threw to Michael Pittman, where Michael Pittman just had free reign just to go into the end zone. That was nice. But Anthony Richardson, I mean, he made some throws. He definitely made some runs.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, Indianapolis is going to be a tough out within their division. So I was really impressed with Anthony Richardson.
Yep. Next game was the 49ers versus the Steelers. Now, the thing that shocked me the most, I thought this game would be slightly closer because it was in Pittsburgh too. The thing that shocks me the most is how dominant the 49ers were in this game. Pittsburgh literally could do nothing against them. The defense for the 49ers, geez, even though they lost D'Amico Ryans, it is as stout as ever. Like, I think the new DC is the guy who used to be the interim coach for the Cardinals, or not the Cardinals, the Panthers. I forgot his name.
I forgot his name too, but yeah, I believe you're right. And the San Francisco 49ers, they didn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
The one that stood out to me was Brandon Ayuk. This guy.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious. This might be say what you want about Justin Jefferson. I agree with you. But Brandon Ayuk may be the league's best route runner. This guy was just open. And I mean open everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. I mean, 49ers looked unbeatable.
Yeah, they look like the NFC favorites right now.
Yeah. Granted, don't sneeze on them Rams. I'm just saying.
And that's the matchup this week.
Sneeze on
them. Brock Purdy, he looked great.
Oh yeah, he looked good. Couldn't get anywhere near him.
Yeah.
This team was absolutely amazing. Defensive line was absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Sorry. This team fully healthy, they could be in the Super Bowl. Yep. Fully healthy. And we know this team, the issue with this team is they always get hurt at the wrong time with most of their guys. So if they can stay healthy.
Right. And on top of that, they got Christian McCaffrey, who I mean, he gonna get hurt. It's just a matter of time. And just hopefully it's not something that's serious that's gonna last a while. But at his position, yeah.
Next game was the Cardinals versus the Commanders. Commanders ended up winning this game. The one thing that did shock me in this game is the Cardinals actually put up a better fight than I thought they would. I thought the Commanders would come in, probably just smack them around, but the Cardinals for most of this game actually kind of led this game, and they actually fought. So I feel like it's going to clearly look like the Cardinals are a good competitive team, in terms of games and the way they fight. But obviously, they're going to more than likely come down and lose games. But who knows? The fact that they played pretty hard, maybe it might shock a team. They can upset a team one of these weeks, and it can mess them up. But Commanders, they looked fine for the most part. Sam Howell looked all right. Can't really say anything, but I didn't watch any of this game, so I can't give a good analysis.
I was going to say, in starting the backup, you would think that – well, it's actually twofold. If I'm the opposing team and I see the backup is starting, I don't have any film on the guy. So I mean, that area I'm kind of concerned. So but Dobbs played well.
Yeah.
He did. And Washington really had to come back in this football game, and perform, because even Arizona defensively, shut down McLaurin and their wide receiving core and kind of kept them off the, battle with them on the line of scrimmage. So Arizona's new coach is pretty much setting the standard that, hey, man, we might lose a lot, but we're not going to quit.
Yeah.
Unlike the Bears.
Yeah. Yeah. Next game. Thank God I didn't watch this game. Raiders against the Broncos. Raiders eke out a victory against the Broncos.
Who did we pick?
We picked the Broncos because we said we didn't trust the Raiders.
They were at home. Because I don't trust the Raiders.
Yeah. I can't say anything about this game. I didn't watch this game. I didn't even watch the clips, the 10-minute video they have on YouTube for like recap. All I know is I guess Russell Wilson like Raiders look and Raiders
And
ended up winning the game.
and
So
shout out to Mr. Brown here at the Hall of Champions who said the Raiders are going to be fabulous. I can't wait to give him this link just so I can do this. Raiders, huh? Don't trust the Raiders.
probably game of the week was the Dolphins versus the Chargers. This game just went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then that one catch where Tyreek Hill catches it for the touchdown to take the lead. One, the throw was great by Tua. The catch was even better than by Tyreek. And geez Louise, I was like, oh goodness. With the fact that the Jets lost Aaron Rodgers, the Bills don't look too good, but albeit the Patriots look better. Right now, the Dolphins look like the team to beat in the AFC East right now. They look on all cylinders, and when it was time to get a stop on the last Chargers drive, they got pressure on Justin Herbert. They got to him. They made him basically take sacks and and things like that. I think they also stunted on that last defensive series to where the freaking offensive lineman for the Chargers didn't pick that up, and you saw Justin Herbert like, dude, what are you doing? I know one of the backbreaking plays in this game was at the end of the first half. For some odd reason, one of the Chargers defensive backs touches a Miami Dolphins wide receiver, thus enacting a pass interference, which led the Dolphins to kicking a field goal to end the half. And that kind of messed up, the way how the Chargers operated. The one thing is, Chargers offense looked good. That's good. But on defense, it seems like it's the same issue. And again, they got Brandon Staley as their head coach, a defensive-minded head coach, and their defense just gave up 36 points, and they couldn't even stop him. And this is the same team last year. They pretty much manhandled in the same building.
Yeah.
So we can say the Chargers could be the favorites to get to the Super Bowl, but if they can't stop nobody on defense, well, they got some problems there. And I know you said that they have depth issues and everything, but the defense is clearly the main problem. They can't stop nobody.
Oh yeah, I mean, but what I like most about the offense is that the backup running back, Mr. Kelly, dude, he
UCLA. There we go.
He looked absolutely fantastic. Dan Marino Jr., you know how much I love some Justin Herbert, but that defense was. But I think every defense is gonna look that bad when you're coming up against this Miami offense.
Yeah.
Just every defense, when you come against this Miami offense healthy, we pretty much took a look at two teams that potentially could be in the Super Bowl in San Francisco and Miami, because those two offenses balled out.
Yeah.
The only difference is, San Francisco's defense looked
legit
spectacular. Miami's defense was, but any defense that's going to come up against these two teams is going to be in some trouble because these guys can put points on the board.
Yeah. Next game, the Eagles versus the Patriots. I guess in Tom Brady's return as a retired player, the Eagles upset
Why
them.
they picked this game, they should have picked something like, if the Raiders on their schedule, that's who they probably should have picked to do Tom Brady's, farewell or, but
based on unless he pulls a Brett Favre and comes back.
They picked the NFC championships, the champions on, but they played hard in the second half. I mean,
they played better. They looked better on offense than what they did under Matt Patricia. I'll give them that.
That's cool.
The Eagles, to an extent, in this game, their offense was kind of janky. And even when we talk about the recap against their game against the Vikings, the offense looked a little janky. But then, in that game, seemingly enough, they turned it on. But in this game, they started off really well, and then they kind of petered off, and they kind of let the Patriots get back in the game. But luckily, they picked up a pretty crucial first down to end the game, and that's pretty much it.
So, the one thing you can say about the Patriots is, regardless of the players that are on the field, if that same dude is coaching them, you can best believe that he's going to make sure that team is ready and prepared to play.
Yeah. Again, another shocker of the week was the Rams blowing out Seattle in Seattle.
Now, I want to talk about man, don't sneeze on the Rams. We all know last year the Rams were horrible, but why were the Rams horrible in your opinion? Let me ask you that question. Why were the Rams bad last year?
All the injuries they suffered.
All the injuries. They had injuries to just about everybody. Everybody. Starting quarterback, best wide receiver in the world, who's actually down for 4 games. 4 games, if I'm right this time, because they put him on IR. You know, year without having OBJ. I mean, offensive line was horrible because certain players retired after the Super Bowl. I mean, it was just a bad year. But this year, seems like they done snap some pieces back together, and they improved that wide receiver room because they got 2 cats, man. Right after Cooper Kupp, they were just like, "Don't worry about a Kupp, we got you." Man, don't sneeze on the Rams. No, just, just.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch most of the game because my eyes were more towards the Bears. But when I was looking at the updates, it was like, oh God, I'm like, Seattle must have looked
As a matter
bad.
of fact, when we hang up, I'm gonna log in, and that's the game I'm gonna watch. I want to see because I want to see just how good they were. I want to see if they were that good or was Seattle that
That
bad.
bad.
Correct. But I'm gonna watch that one today. I was just like it because a lot of people put Seattle up there on the same wavelength with San Francisco.
Yep.
And they came in, they just threw a dud together against the Rams.
Yeah.
So I
It
just
doesn't
want to
get
make
easier.
sure.
Doesn't get easier for Seattle. They got to go to Detroit.
Correct. And Detroit is good.
The
And
environment
look
would probably be just as loud as their place too.
and just I know this is off not off book, but AFC West. Broncos are in first place. Raiders lost, Chargers lost,
No, Raiders
Chiefs.
won. Raiders are in first place.
Oh yeah, that's right. Raiders in first place. Can you believe that crap?
Yeah, but it's only one game though.
Well, Raiders fans are happy.
I guess.
Raiders in first place. I'm sorry, that's what I meant to say. But just total shock. So anyway.
Yep. Another shocking to the point I didn't even freaking watch a lick of this game after this game, after I saw the score at some point in the game. The Cowboys go out into New York and they blow the brakes off of the Giants. Offense for the Giants was literally inept. They paid Daniel Jones all that money. He did nothing. That offense, with all the additions they made, didn't look much of anything. Offense for the Cowboys looks better. Defense looks pretty damn good.
Man, the Cowboys looked damn good. I mean, how many times have you seen a shutout in an NFL football game within the let's just say last 5 years?
Not much.
Not much, but this was just utter domination. I mean, they just embarrassed the Giants in their house too.
Yeah. That's
In
probably the
their
only
house,
other thing that actually took me off the Bears loss. And I was like, geez, that's probably worse than the Bears loss.
man. I mean, Lord have mercy. Yeah, you're right, and that's their rival too. You know, so it's gonna be interesting. That division is always interesting. So we'll see. But Cowboys, 49ers, man.
Yeah, right now they're the two probably favorite teams in the NFC right now, based on the way they play this week.
Well, if we're looking at the NFC, for me, but I'm gonna watch the Rams just to make sure. Rams and Dallas. And then there's the 49ers in Miami. I mean, Miami and the AFC. Yeah, but
Yeah. And then to end off week one, Monday Night Football, Bills versus Jets. On the fourth play of the game, Aaron Rodgers tears his Achilles. And mind you, I was working a shift trying to sell items, selling these autographed memorabilia items. I look at this guy get down, and I'm like, okay, he gets tackled. He gets back up as they're showing him camera, and then he just goes back down. I'm like, is he good? And then he needed to be helped off. I was like, oh. And then I saw the cart come out. I'm like, oh.
Right.
And then it came out, said he must have tore his Achilles. And they came out and said, yeah, he tore his Achilles. And I was like,
the thing about it was he was dealing with a calf strain similar to what Kevin Durant was dealing with before he tore his Achilles.
Yep.
So, but the doctors continued to let him play. So, that's another thing that's going to be looked at moving forward, calf strain. We're going to have to make sure we're clear on if this is a calf strain or is this a precursor to an Achilles tear. So, but I felt for him. I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan, but dude, I mean, anytime anybody goes down like that, yeah, it really tears at my heartstrings because you want the guy to play just so you can continue to hate him.
Yeah.
And you hate him because he's just that damn good at what he do. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
We would hate Aaron Rodgers. It was a Rooney Poo scrub.
Yeah. The Bills didn't.
So we hate Aaron Rodgers because do see anyone that goes down like that.
Yeah. The Bills didn't particularly look good. They looked good early on, and then for some odd reason, Josh Allen, he was making some weird throws in this game. And because of it, it ended up getting the Jets back in the game under, lo and behold, Zach Wilson. They take the game to overtime, and off one punt return, game.
Well, Bryce Hall was also a really good reason.
Oh, yeah, that one run Breece Hall had, crazy.
Breece Hall, yeah, he was a really good reason why they ran the ball, too, because they were able to control the clock and control the line of scrimmage. But Buffalo, the only problem I have with Buffalo is that they don't run the ball. They always want to, throw the ball 40, 50 times and put the ball in Josh Allen's hands. And then you got the deep wide receiver who, for all intents and purposes, thinks that if he gets 10 to 15 catches the game, they're going to win on the ball, stop the run, quarterback don't make any mistakes. Buffalo did none of that. Yeah. That's why they lost.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for the week one recap. We'll be back to talk the week two predictions. Oh, yeah. And then we'll talk about Vikings, Eagles as well. But we'll be back in a quick second. So see you guys on the next part. Hey guys, back with the last game of the recap. So yesterday, or Thursday, I guess, because this video is probably gonna go up on Saturday. We had Thursday night football game, first Thursday night football game of the year, and that was the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, where the Eagles ended up winning the game. Honestly, I would say a lot closer than what the final score had said, because there was a point in the game where the Eagles could have potentially blown the game because it was a one-score game, like going late into the fourth quarter. But again, the Vikings defense, for some odd reason, they hired Brian Flores, who's very good. But the defense just can't get a stop when it needs to get a stop. Just like last week against the Buccaneers. The offense can do what it has now. Obviously, the 4 turnovers the Vikings offense had, that can't happen, especially the one turnover where when Justin Jefferson catches it, he looks like he's about to reach out for the pylon and he just loses the ball. And that ends up becoming called a touchback and everything. I know some people hate that rule. I guess I can understand why that rule sucks and everything, because it's like, well, that just takes the ball out of your hands right then and there. Who the hell? But that's what the rule says. If it's a touchback, it's a touchback. Hey, at least Jalen Hurts and Justin Jefferson got me good points in fantasy football. I'll say that. But offense for the Vikings doesn't seem to be a problem, other than seemingly enough their offensive line to an extent. Skill wise, as well as they're not turning the ball over, it's not too bad. Now I hear like Viking fans do not like Alexander Madison. Like, I guess he's not cutting it at running back one, but it's what happens when you let Dalvin Cook just walk away. But
Well,
the
four
Eagles
turnovers.
go
I
ahead.
would say 4 turnovers,
Yeah.
4 touchdowns, 4 passing touchdowns for the Minnesota Vikings. Pretty much just canceled everything the Minnesota Vikings want to do offensively.
Yeah.
But they couldn't run the ball. They couldn't
Yeah.
control the clock. They couldn't dominate the line of scrimmage. And when their offense was predictable. Cousins would drop back. You know who he's looking for.
Yeah.
It's just up for Justin Jefferson just to make a play. And if he don't make a play, they lose him, which is what turns out is what happened. Basically, in a nutshell, DeAndre Swift had the game of his life. So
Yeah. He was pretty good.
He had the game of his life. Jalen Hurts wasn't spectacular, but he wasn't pedestrian either.
Yeah. He did enough to win.
He did just enough to win. Seems like the defense was more concerned with A.J. Brown than Devonta Smith.
Yeah.
And from a passing standpoint, Jalen Hurts saw that. He got burned by it. So I'm glad
Honestly, he ran a lot this game. He had over 100 yards rushing this game, too.
Yeah, he did but that's Philadelphia's MO. I mean, they're going to run the ball. The run is a staple of everything they do, whether it be with Jalen Hurts or Gainwell or, in this particular case, Swift. So they put up damn near 300 yards rushing. So I'm just.
AKA Luke Getsy. Take notes, Luke Getsy.
You can't win if they controlling the clock on that kind of level. Damn near 300 yards rushing.
Like, I think it was a drive in the second quarter. They ate up like so much time left on the clock. I'm looking at the scoreboard. I'm like, wait, the 2-minute warning's about to happen. I'm like, geez.
Yep, 2 players had almost had just 270 yards rushing.
Yeah,
275, maybe 280. 2 players for Philadelphia.
Yeah,
unbelievable. But I'm glad they're 2-0 because that does, it should put a fire under the Bears for next week to go to Tampa Bay and perform well and beat the team that just beat Minnesota, who now is 2-0.
Yeah, and with Minnesota,
0-2. I'm sorry, 0-2.
Yeah, and with Minnesota, like I think they're down to like the 3rd string left tackle, because the first one gets hurt, the second one got hurt, then he ended up getting carted off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're on the 3rd string, so they have offensive line issues right then and there. But even then, they still get the ball out quick. And I'm like, Bears have offensive line issues, and they go completely away from that, getting the ball out quick.
I mean, somebody in the Bears organization don't believe in winning at the line of scrimmage. That's just what it seems like. I don't understand what it is.
Yeah. From the Vikings perspective, unless they don't start winning games, this could get rough. Because remember, Justin Jefferson never signed any contract extension, so he could honestly be like, I'm not liking the situation here. I think I'm going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
If they don't fix it, if they don't get fit, if they don't start winning games, right now, probably the 2 best teams in the NFC North are probably the Lions and albeit the Packers till they play a tougher opponent. But
however, we did see this coming last year with all those close games. They just squeaked by and won. So we were just like, I just don't see this team doing this next year. I just can't see it. They're going to have to be able to, dominate some games, but they came into the year without Dalvin Cook. Like, if you can't run the ball, in my opinion, half a day, half a dollar short from trying to get you some W's in the NFL.
Yeah, man, if you can't even stop anybody on offense, well, then you can't. You're putting more pressure on your offense to score.
If you've given up damn near 300 yards rushing then yeah, you got some problems.
Yep.
Some serious problems.
Yep. Eagles, I thought they looked good to an extent, but again, it's kind of like a second week where they had kind of a sloppy half.
Yeah.
This time it was the first half. And again, we talked about Dallas. Dallas looks like they're the team to beat in the NFC East right now out of all the NFC East teams.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, Philadelphia lost coaches too.
Yeah.
Two, if I'm correct.
They lost they lost their DC and their OC.
Yeah. And those guys became head coaches. So I mean, the philosophy seems to still be there with Philadelphia. And they did lose a couple of players from the defense. You know, they added some running backs, which obviously helped them in this game because, you know, but the philosophy seems to still be the same. And they got players to run it as well too. So it's gonna be interesting in the NFC East. You know, the NFC North on the other hand.
Yeah, I think my prediction about the Lions probably not winning the division. I think that's probably going to happen because
I think it's going to be that. I think it's more so by default.
Yeah.
Than anything else.
So, also the Eagles, I guess they're fearing that Avonte Maddox might be done for the season because he tore his pectoral, which would be another blow to their defense because he's a pretty solid corner. I still remember when he played with the Bears, but he was dog crap when he played for the Bears.
They lost Gardner Johnson.
Yep.
So I mean,
TJ Edwards.
Yep, TJ Edwards in Philadelphia. So you got some problems in Philadelphia. You know, so they're gonna be, and they're winning, but they're, you know, are they winning because they're the better football team, or they're just winning because, you know, the other team is just not necessarily doing what they need to do to put them away.
Yeah.
And that might have been the case with this particular game because Minnesota was there with them step for step. Minnesota just kept giving them the football, and then next thing you know, the Eagles just ran the ball right down their throat.
Yep. Well, time to get to the week 2 predictions for the rest. We didn't even. I was coaching a football game that we ended up winning, so I couldn't really give the prediction. You know, I guess hindsight 2020, I would have went with Eagles either way, anyways, because they were the home team. But yeah, can't really give a prediction because we didn't give our predictions off the side. But going on forward now, week 2 of the NFL. First game we're gonna talk about Bears versus Buccaneers. Might as well get our garbage football team out the way. I don't know. Listen, I'm just going Bucks because as a Bears fan, what I saw from last week, I can't really trust this team right now. They come on in the press conference, they say that they're going to get the stuff they messed up in week 1 corrected. It's enough. Again, it's like they say, it's easy enough to say it. The hard part is to actually go out there and go do it. And the way that it seems like, you know, if you're into the Bears situation, the fact that it seems like everybody on every different level of the organization is on edge after 1 week of football. It sounds like if they lose this game, it could be, geez Louise, all hell breaking loose. And dare I say, will the Bears break tradition in terms of firing a head coach mid-season? Who knows?
No, that's unheard of in the NFL. You'd have to be, you know, you'd have to see something pretty drastic for an NFL team just to simply say after 2 games in, this ain't the guy.
No, well, I'm saying like later into the season. Could they do?
I mean, yes. Even, you know, I mean, we're talking probably 10 or 12, maybe 14 games in the season where they may realize, man, this ain't the guy. I mean, for me, Matt Eberflus ain't the guy. We saw last year.
Last year they had an excuse though. They didn't have a good team, but this year there's no more excuses.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah.
I don't see any intensity. I don't see any hustle. I just don't see. I mean, I see players out there for themselves and not the team. And granted, it's only 1 game in, but when your fans start booing your fans start booing you, I think that was a telltale sign that people are fed up with this.
Yeah, when the players are firing back at the fans for booing, well, then that just shows me where your mentality is at too.
Correct.
So,
But yeah, I think
well,
Tampa Bay in this game. I don't think it'll be a blowout. I think it might actually be a close game. I think the Bears probably will come to play early, but usually there's always one particular thing that'll just set it all off in motion where the momentum will probably shift from um, to Tampa Bay to the point where, you know, Bears start their crazy crap again and wind up, taking an L. So I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay.
yeah, Tampa Bay, they're going to send the house on the offensive line, try to get Justin to make a decision. Feel like it could be a combination of just blitzing and then zone defense in the backfield. I have no confidence. If all goes well for the Buccaneers, this game's going to be a blowout. Unless the Bears do something about it and they play competitive. Justin Fields got to play better. Offensive line's got to play better. Defense has to play infinitely better. I guess for the offense's case, it seems like Carlton Davis won't be playing, but regardless, if that's the case, well, then that's not enough.
Really need. I mean,
So I got Buccaneers winning this game until the Bears prove me otherwise. Can't do nothing. So it seems to me the Bears will be starting off 0-3 to start the season, and that sucks.
Yeah, it does.
So
next
game up. This could be a get back game. Raiders versus the Bills. The Bills should win this game, albeit as long as they don't do nothing stupid that would end up costing them the game and giving the Raiders advantage to win this game. That means establish the run against this team. Don't make Josh Allen do too much to where he's putting the ball in harm's way. And defense just gets your stops against Jimmy Garoppolo and the Raiders offense. You should win this game. You're in Buffalo. Now, if they lose this game, we might need to start talking about what's wrong going on with Buffalo now.
I don't trust the Raiders. Something would have to be really dramatic for me to trust the Raiders. I don't care how bad Buffalo is playing. I don't trust the Raiders. I don't care where they're at. So I'm going to go with Buffalo by default. And Buffalo look just as bad as the Bears.
Jeez, man, why do the Bears game have to be the one game at the early games? We got a great matchup in an early game. Ravens at the Bengals.
Do you honestly want to wait up after the way they played? I waited, and keep in mind, man, where I'm at, you think your time zone is jacked up where you at? My time zone, man, got me. It was 10:30 p.m. and I had to stay up to watch that crap. I'm up at, it's like, man, it's midnight. And
Might as well go to sleep next week because they ain't beating the Chiefs.
I'm sitting over here like, man, I can't believe I stayed up for this. So I'm glad it's the early game. For us is what 7 p.m. are the early games. And I'm actually kind of happy because if they don't play right, I can probably, get a little bit of rest before the 10:30 games come on, which obviously set up a better evening.
Now this is a morning game. The Ravens versus the Bengals is a morning game too.
And I gotta admit, it's gonna be tough. The new DAZN app only allows you to watch one game at a time, whereas the Game Pass last year, man, I can have a game on this TV, this monitor, my TV back here. I can basically put the Game Pass on all of my TVs and just walk around listening to football. But no, man, DAZN is just like, no, dog, we're not gonna do that this year. So you get one game, you have to log out if you want to go to another one.
Ravens versus Bengals gonna be an interesting game. Both offenses, morally the Bengals were rusty. Oh man, this is gonna be a tough game to choose. Oh God. I'm gonna go, even though they're on the road, I'm gonna go with the Ravens because they just looked better ending off the game against the Texans than the Bengals did, just in a complete sense. Now, Joe Burrow could get back on track and play good, but with how stout the Ravens defense is, we'll see. I'm going to go with Ravens here. They just look right now at the better team, but I would not be surprised if the Bengals also win this game as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Ravens as well too. I'm just not sold on that calf injury for Burrow. Um, I'm just not sold. So, and the Ravens look a little bit more hungry than what the Bengals did last week. I think the Bengals are just playing on years past and think that they just going to all of a sudden put it together. And they didn't look good last week.
Yep.
So, but I'm gonna go with the Ravens, and it will be close because usually games in this division are close. So, but more likely probably by a field goal anyway. But Ravens, I think that second half gave me hope that they can put this thing together and go for a nice little run.
Yeah. Next game, another really good game that's in the early game slot. I have to find I have to find two screens. Just give me two screens. I guess I'll be putting one game on my phone, the other game on the iPad. Chiefs at the Jaguars. Rematch of the divisional playoff round. I'm going to go with the Jaguars to win this game. On one aspect, Kelsey's gone. I don't know the Chris Jones situations if he'll be activated for this game. Because obviously he signed the extension at least for one more season this season. But I think the heat can play a factor. It's going to be hot in Jacksonville. I could have said the same thing with the Bears because it'd be hot in Tampa Bay too. Florida, the humidity. I've been in Florida. I don't like it. I don't like the humidity in Florida. It's terrible. Even though the Jaguars had a slow start, I feel like they can go out there. They can go win the game. The defense, to an extent, for the Chiefs is somewhat suspect. And if Chris Jones ain't playing, then I think the Jaguars have a good chance to win. And then obviously with the Kelsey, Mahomes, albeit he still looked good, his receivers let him down more than anything. So unless the receivers step up in this game, well, I got Jaguars winning this game.
I like the Jaguars too. They seem to have they have bigger fish to fry than what's going on in Kansas City. It's their home opener. They got out of last week by the hair of their chin. And you said it was the wide receiver thing, the reason why they lost. I'm going to put it to you like this. Mahomes made some bad throws. And he made bad throws to average receivers. And you just can't do that.
Yeah. We should have talked about in the game recap. Calvin Ridley was tearing up the Colts defense too.
Oh, yeah. That was early on, though.
Yeah.
That was early on. I think when when the Colts got their stuff together and they started covering Ridley, then because I put him in my fantasy league and I love his output, but all of that output was early in that game.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the Chiefs will probably do something to try to, limit his targets as well. But I mean, I do like the Jaguars. It's their home opener. The Chiefs are on the road again. They barely, they were pissed. They were bad, man. And Detroit's offense for me is nothing compared to what the Jaguars. So I like the Jaguars going
there. Next game, the LA Chargers versus the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee. I'm going to go the Chargers to win this game. They should win this game by 2, maybe 3 scores because that's how lowly I think of the Titans offense.
Yeah, I like the Chargers as well. I can't see any scenario. I mean, come on, man. They don't look like the Titans know what the hell they're doing on offense anyway. So, but the Chargers look really good. Defensively, on the other hand,
yeah,
I think the Titans will probably be able to keep it respectable. I don't think a 3 touchdown win. I can go with a touchdown. I'm not crazy about the Titans offense.
Yeah. We'll see how that game, but I also have a sneaking suspicion I could see the Titans winning this game and then Chargers. Oh boy, talk about underwhelming expectations for that team.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not happy I'm a Bears fan, but geez Louise, I'm probably happy that I'm not a Chargers fan. The only thing that I would miss being a Chargers fan is Justin Herbert.
You're not a Chargers fan?
Because they always get let down.
They always get let down. And you think the Bears do better?
No, I said I'm not happy I'm a Bears fan, but lo and behold, outside the quarterback situation, at least, good God, the team doesn't get my expectations too high like the freaking Bear. Well, the Bears, yes, they can get the expectations high, but you settle them after you like, okay, yeah, after a game. But with the Chargers, they keep getting your expectations high, especially after a game they win and it's an impressive win. And then you look like, okay, they can take the next step. And then they don't, and they absolutely collapse. And it's like, okay, I'm probably better off because at least with the Bears, you know, when they suck, they suck.
Yeah. Well, I'll put it like this. I don't live in your area, so I can't really, you know, comment on the experience you have with the Chargers. Yeah. All I can definitely say, as long as you got you a good quarterback, you got a better than 50% chance of winning. And Justin Herbert is one of the better ones in the league. So I would much rather go with them odds than what's going on in Chicago.
That's true.
So, yeah, as long as you got a good quarterback, you got a shot. Yeah, you got a shot. But
Yep.
right now,
Next matchup.
yeah,
Green Bay Packers at the Atlanta Falcons.
This is a good one. This is a good one. I'm not sipping that tea though with Green Bay, nor am I sipping that tea with Atlanta.
I think Atlanta's
Green
going to win this game
Bears.
close.
Yeah, Green Bay played the Bears, and Atlanta played the Panthers with a rookie quarterback. So right now, I'm not really ready to sip either. I'm not ready to sip that tea. Only to say that I do believe Jordan Love showed me more as a quarterback than Desmond Ritter did. So I'm gonna go with Green Bay.
Okay, I'm going with Atlanta this game. I think they have an infinitely better defense than what the Bears shown.
They
And
do. They do have a better defense. They focus on the running game.
Yep.
You know, so I think these guys they can definitely win the game. So but I do think when it's all said and done, you know, Matt LaFleur, you know, really
they're
good
gonna have
coach.
Jamal Adams either. Packers apparently ain't gonna
Right.
have.
No, I know. But at the same time, they still got AJ Dillon, and
Mhm.
they got a nice other young running back that coming up behind them. So they're still gonna run the football. You can best believe that. But Matt LaFleur is a really good play caller. So we'll see. But I do like Green Bay still.
Next game, Seattle Seahawks versus the Detroit Lions in Detroit. Detroit's gonna beat the hell out of these dudes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just didn't see anything that says week one was it.
Yeah.
That's why I want to watch that Rams.
Seattle game.
I want to watch that game. I really do. So I just don't want to jump off that Seattle bandwagon because I do think the way they ended the season last year was promising enough to simply say, you know what, we can just go ahead and let week one slide just a little bit. But Detroit Detroit ain't the one. So I'm gonna go with Detroit too.
Ford Field's gonna be pumping in there.
Yeah.
Like,
Home
talk
field
about a
advantage.
team that has expectations pumping. That's what the Bears fans were doing in Soldier Field, and then we got a whole dose of reality. At least with the Lions, they're actually going to show up.
Yep. And Aiden Hutchinson.
Yep.
Y'all better, man. Seattle, y'all, you better have an answer. Because the only answer Kansas City had was to, you know, push the boundary of illegality with Jawan Taylor. That was their only hope. Because I mean, they they pushed it close. And I think honestly, you're gonna see a lot of teams that try to do the same thing, but I think the league is gonna eventually get wise to it and start calling some penalties. But Detroit, yeah, I think everything about Detroit is right.
Next matchup, we got a rookie quarterback matchup. Colts at the Texans. I'm gonna go with the Texans in this game over the Colts, just barely, probably by 3 points. I think it's gonna be a back and forth game, but the Texans, since it's the home team, I was very impressed with how their defense played under D'Amico Ryans. So I think that's gonna give them the edge, and they're gonna make Richardson make a mistake this game.
I agree. I think the difference in this game is going to be D'Amico Ryans and his defense. They looked really good last week. And even CJ Stroud seemed to have a little bit more poise in the pocket than the Bryce Young in Carolina, who you don't be forever compared to.
Yeah.
So I do like Houston in this game as well, but Anthony Richardson can play. So he can play. So I don't think it's going to be a blowout. It's going to be close. Damian Pierce may be the factor in this particular game. So I'd probably say, if anything, I can probably see 100 yards and 2 touchdowns for Damian.
Afternoon game slate, starting off with the New York Giants at the Arizona Cardinals. The Giants should win this game. This will be a get-back game for them to recover from, honestly, shockingly enough, I could see them probably blowing out the Cardinals to be like, all right, let's take all that anger we have from our ass whooping of a game last week and take it out on the Cardinals and win this game.
And if they don't, that New York media going to go wild.
Oh, they lose. And guess who they play next week on Thursday Night Football?
Who's that?
San Francisco, in San Francisco.
Yeah. Arizona, they need to beat the brakes off Arizona. They really do. They need to beat the brakes off Arizona, just to give them some kind of hope.
They lose this game to the Cardinals. They actually might be worse than the Bears are right now.
They need to beat the brakes off the Cardinals. Because I mean, you just don't do that against your rival. I'm glad at least the Bears scored points.
Yeah, they didn't score not one.
Nothing. They didn't even come close to sniffing the 20-yard line, the red zone, against that defense.
If they lose this game to the Cardinals and then only to get blown out against the freaking 49ers. I know we're bad over here in Chicago, but geez Louise, in terms of the Giants fan side of things, you'll be in purgatory.
Yeah. And our media is brutal.
Yeah.
It is. But dude, that New York media, man.
Yeah, and the Jets are gonna get more leniency because they lost Aaron Rodgers to injury.
Yep.
So Giants, if they don't win this game, they could be in massive trouble too.
They'll win. Probably by a couple of touchdowns, and they might soothe the Savage Beast a little bit.
Yep. This could be one of the few games of the weeks, but probably might be game of the week. 49ers are at the LA Rams. One thing I know for the fact is one of my coworkers at work, he's gonna go up to this game. He's a Rams fan, but he already told me I know I'm gonna be seeing boatloads of San Francisco 49er fans up in the building.
Oh yeah, they traveled well to Pittsburgh. You saw a lot of red in that stadium in Pittsburgh. And they're going to SoFi?
Yeah, they're going to SoFi. It's funny on Twitter, people get ready to go to SoFi West. Or no, not SoFi West. What's the Levi West or whatever?
Honestly, I'll probably say, you know what? I want the opportunity to change my pick after watching that game. I feel something about the Rams, man. I feel something about the Rams. I really do. I saw that box. That box score was. They dominated the Seahawks.
Yeah,
they dominated the Seahawks. So, and you got Aaron Donald. Man, mm. I'm gonna go with the 49ers.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with
I
49.
don't think you can beat them with, no Cooper Cup. And
Yeah.
your number one target is a rookie wide receiver. But I'm gonna go with the 49ers, but I would not be shocked if the Rams pulled up and beat them.
Really?
I would not be shocked.
I can
That
be
box,
I can see it being close, but I still see 49ers winning. I don't see
I see 49ers winning too, but I will not be shocked if the Rams beat them.
I would be
looked
shocked
at
if the
the
Rams.
box score. I looked at that, and most times when you can look at a box score, there are certain things you can tell. You can tell if a team is just dominant. You can tell if a team is average. But to me, when I looked at that box score, I was just like,
Yeah.
the Rams were dominant. So we'll see.
We'll see. Next game. This time the Cowboys have the other New York team, but this time it's in their building. They're playing the New York Jets at Dallas. Poor Zach Wilson. He's gonna probably go into a bloodbath.
That
Yeah.
front four gonna get after him.
Yeah.
And yeah,
No, if Aaron Rodgers is playing, maybe different story, but
maybe.
I'm going Cowboys.
I'm going
Oh,
Cowboys.
another blowout. Back-to-back blowouts on back-to-back New York teams.
I can see that because they're at home too. Yeah. Home opener in Dallas with that defense.
Yeah. Well, only thing is Dak Prescott can't turn the ball over because Jets defense is actually solid themselves too. They're a good defense.
Yeah, that's true.
You know. Next game, Commanders against the Broncos. I'm going Commanders.
Commander. You don't trust the Broncos and you don't trust the Raiders.
Yeah. Even though the Broncos have Sean Payton, but I can't trust Russell Wilson. I ain't watching this game either.
Not yet. Don't trust the Broncos just yet.
Sunday Night Football. Dolphins at the Patriots.
You want me to go first with this one, don't you?
I'm going Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Dolphins too.
Sorry, Matt.
Yeah, sorry, Matt. I'm gonna go Dolphins too. It's really difficult to take away one thing that the Dolphins do well. And that's what the Patriots do best.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Dolphins.
I think this game's probably gonna go down the wire. It's either gonna be by 3 points or by 7.
It's either gonna be 3 points, or it's gonna be one of them 1 point 23-22 or 28-27 type games.
That's now that takes us to the Monday night game slate. We have 2 games on Monday Night Football. First game is the New Orleans Saints at the Carolina Panthers.
I'll go with New Orleans.
Yeah.
I mean,
as a Bears fan, I need New Orleans to win, please.
Yeah, I'll just go with New Orleans. I don't know why they booked this particular game for Monday night, but I'm going.
Hey, it's a double header, so maybe they wanted to put one bad game and then, hey, let's have a more entertaining game, which is Browns at Steelers.
I can't wait for this one. But
wait, these two games are gonna be playing virtually almost at the same time. The Browns Steelers game is takes place an hour after the start time of.
So somebody knows what the heck they're doing. They know ain't nobody gonna be watching the Saints and Panthers.
Yeah,
they really know. But
Browns and Steelers.
Browns look good, bro. And the Steelers are down on Deontay Johnson.
Oh, he's out. He's declared out.
Yeah, he's not playing.
Oh,
hamstring.
Dang.
I'm going Browns, man.
I'm gonna put my gut in the Steelers having a comeback, having a get back game. I think it's gonna be a close, gritty game, but I think the Steelers will play better than how they played last week. I think Kenny Pickett will do more than what he did last week. But I won't be shocked if the Browns win this game, and the Browns defense still gives the Steelers offense fits.
I agree with you. I wouldn't be shocked if the Steelers won, especially considering they're at home. Um, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna be a little peeved about how they performed against the 49ers.
Mike Tomlin this week's gonna have them ready to play.
Yeah, I believe he will. So, but Kevin Stefanski has shown himself to be an amazing play caller, and the Browns looked really good. So I'm gonna go Browns. You go ahead and go look Steelers, and I guess next week we'll just figure it out how to, what went wrong, I guess. But this should be another one of them close games. Field goal at the last second.
All right. Well, that's basically it for our predictions. Again, we'll be back next week for a week 2 recap, week 3 predictions, and we'll also be here Sunday after the Bears probably lost against the Buccaneers to get that recap for whatever that's worth, which I'm not looking forward to that game at all. And
No, neither. But we'll still be rooting for our Bears, no matter what, even though that they look really bad. We're gonna, we're still gonna, we're still gonna root for our team.
Yep.
And we hope they get it together. We do hope they win. But only one way to find out.
Well, anyway,
Say the early.
Yeah. Next week we got the afternoon game.
Yeah.
Well, it is what it is. Anyways, catch you guys in the next video. Peace.